So we're going to start with 5x plus 3y equals 15. So step one, we want x-intercept, we want y-intercept, and we want slope. So, yeah, of course. So the x-intercept is where y equals 0. The y-intercept is where x equals 0. And the slope is just where we take the change of y over the change of x. All right, so let's take a look at just the x and y intercepts first. Y equals 0. So all you're going to do is copy the equation and put in 0 for y. So they're very, very fast. You're just going to divide by 5, and you get x is 3. Now, when you go over to the y-intercept side, that's when x is 0. So you're going to have 5 times 0 plus 3y equals 15. In other words, 3y equals 15. So y equals 5. All right, so now when you want to go to slope, you're going to solve for y. So step 1, solve for y. All right. So we're going to solve for y with this equation. It's going to say 5x plus 3y is 15. So first things first, subtract 5x from both sides. So we have 3y equals 15 minus 5x. Now divide everything by 3, and you get y equals 5 minus 5 over 3. That number that's right in front of x, negative 5 over 3, that's the one that is your slope. So we got our slope right here, negative 5 over 3. That's the final answer. Yep. Cool. So we can say our final answer, m equals negative 5 over 3. All right, so now for number 18, we've just done our x-intercepts, our y-intercepts, and our slope. Number 19 and 20 are going to follow the same exact example. So we'll go through those pretty quickly now that you get the pattern of how to multiply something by 0. So come on over to 19. 19 says x minus 3. So we got y equals x minus 3. We're first going to look at your x-intercept, and that's where y equals 0. So we've got 0 equals x minus 3. So all you got to do is add 3 to both sides, and you get that x is positive 3. Now we've done our x-intercepts, we go on to our y-intercepts. Y-intercepts are where x equals 0. So take your equation again, and just put 0 in for x. And that's your final answer. There's nothing to do. There's no math. It's just going to fall out at you. And that's what you want. So that's your answer. Y is negative 3. Even easier is going to be the slope, because your equation is already solved for y. So all you're going to need to do is look at the number that's in front of x. And in this case, it's a 1. Yeah, so your slope is just 1. And a lot of times these problems kind of work out that way, where the answer will just fall out at you because you're doing everything in the right order. That's what we want. Number 20 says x equals negative 4. X equals negative 4. So we're going to have two things again. We got your x-intercepts and your y-intercepts. Your x-intercepts is where y equals 0. And there's no y in this equation. So we're going to say that this part, x equals negative 4, has an x-intercept where y equals 0. So that's going to be x is negative x equals negative 4. It's already solved out for you. Nothing to do there. The y-intercept is the strange one. It doesn't have a y value, so there is no intercept. It will not cross the y-axis because you don't have a y variable. The last thing we want to look at is what our slope would look like. This says an x equals negative 4, so let's graph it out. Let's go over here to negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Draw your line, x equals negative 4. And we can see right here that this is a vertical line, which tells us what our slope is. Our slope is just undefined because it's a vertical line. You know, it doesn't have like a steepness. It's a straight up and down line. So we call undefined. Number 21 and 22 are really straightforward. They're just talking about zeros. So take a look at 21. It says direct variation or indirect variation. So you're going to get y equals y minus 3x equals 5. To find direct variation, all you got to do is put x and y to 0 at the same time. In the last example, it was just x is 0 or y is 0. So here both are 0 at the same time. We have 0 minus 0 equals 5. And this is false because 0 does not equal 5. 0 does not equal 5. So what we're saying here, so what we're saying is that this is indirect variation. And that's because we got something that said it's false. Because 0 does not equal 5. That's not true. Number 22 will go even faster. Because it says negative 6x equals 2y. And what you're going to do is put zeros in for x and y. So this is just saying that 0 equals 0. And the awesome part about that is that it is true. This is true. So this is direct variation. All right, number 23 gives us a table of values. And we get 2, 4, 6, and 8. And we get 640, 1280, 1920, and 2560. We've got H and F of H. All right. So from here, this is all about common difference. That's all we got to do. From 2 to 4 is plus 2. From 4 to 6 is plus 2. And from 6 to 8 is plus 2. Each of these is 640. And that's going to help you with your slope to write your equation. So part A says write the equation. So we're going to say y equals 640 divided by 2 times x. And that's where we got the 640 from, and that's where we got the 2 from. It shows up right in here in our slope. It's the change in y divided by the change in x. So we took our common difference and we put it into slope. So our final equation is y equals 320x. That's part A. Now for part B, it says the lawyer works for 7 hours. So you just put y equals 320 times 7. Because the AC's on. So 7 times 320. That's it. Yep. That's it. All right, so we're talking $2,240. In other words, if you work for 7 hours, you get paid $2,240 for that work. Number 24 is giving us a transformation. Our original equation was x minus 2. Our new equation is that same equation with an x plus 3. Okay. So to talk about the transformation, we look at our numbers here, and we see that we're moving inside of the grouping. So we know that it's going to go side to side, inside of the grouping. We also know that it has a positive 3, and we need to do the opposite. So instead of going over here to the positive right, we need to go over here to the left. So this is going to be left 3 units. Number 25's translation starts off with negative x plus 5, and then it goes into 2 times the function. So we're going to multiply this entire function, the whole thing, by 2. And if you take a function and you multiply everything in there by 2, we call that a vertical stretch. You may also know it as steeper, when we were talking steeper and flatter. And that right there, guys, will finish up the backside of practice test A.